we've been working with whistleblowers, and these whistleblowers are Minnesota state employees, almost all of whom are registered Democrats that have been sounding the alarm for years. So we're going to inform the American people today what's going on, and also talk about what the Trump administration is doing as we speak on the ground to try to hold people accountable.
Well, you just heard the soundbite of Tim Walz. You hear what he's saying. Hey, I'm not going anywhere. And by the way, when is the president going to resign? What exactly do you think he's talking about?
Well, he has to be talking about January 6th, because that's all they want to talk about today. In fact, I think their witness, the minority always gets a witness. We have state legislators. This is a hearing today in oversight about fraud, about billions of dollars of fraud in one particular state. And the Democrats will want to, their members aren't going to talk about fraud because they don't care about wage fraud abuse. They care about January 6th all of a sudden. So that's what I think he was referring to. But at the end of the day, he's going to have to answer a lot of questions. If he doesn't voluntarily come in for our committee hearing that's already scheduled next month with him and Attorney General Keith Ellison, then he will be receiving a subpoena very soon from me, because he's going to have to answer a lot of questions to the American people. We're talking about a significant percentage of Tim Walz's entire budget for the state of Minnesota appears to have gone 100% in the way of fraud, primarily by the Somali community.
Well, Mr. Chairman, let me ask you a question about that, because you say all they want to talk about is January 6th. Are you investigating what they did on January 6th? There is a report that Lieutenant Michael Byrd, who's the officer who shot Ashley Babbitt dead on January 6th, he allegedly was operating an unaccredited home daycare. Is that part of your investigation? Are you looking at the fact that right now we understand that the CIA told the court it cannot produce any requested January 6th documents and information for 4 more years? 4 more years? We can't see the documents? Why?
I don't know, but that's a committee that the Speaker has tagged Barry Loudermilk from Georgia. He's on that what's called the House Administration Committee. That committee is usually a very low-profile committee. They kind of focus on House administration here, so that was something that happened obviously inside these walls, and he's been doing a good job, but he's struggling to get information, and I hope that the Trump administration turns over all the information that he has, because we all have questions about January 6th, and it appears that the January 6th committee, led by Liz Cheney and Jamie Raskins and that bunch, weren't truthful with the American people, and that's a consistent pattern I found with Jamie Raskins.
I mean, did they destroy evidence?
Well, they could have. I mean, I don't. Anything Jamie Raskin does, you can just throw it in the trash. He has zero credibility with me, and I think with most Americans.
Well, there is a story that man, Michael Byrd, was also operating a taxpayer-funded home daycare as $190 million in federal child care funds flowed to Maryland. Now, the president has talked about other fraud in other states. The president is actually accusing another blue state of fraud and corruption. Watch this.
California is more corrupt than any place. California is more corrupt than Minnesota. And I won Minnesota. Well, Tom's going, I think so. Well, it's close. It can't be proportionately. Probably nothing's more corrupt.
Fox confirmed the president's assertion that a fraud investigation is underway on California, and it will involve multiple federal agencies. Today marks 1 year since the devastating Pacific Palisades fires in California. But I want to get your take on whether or not there's fraud with regard to what we've seen in Minnesota.
I think that without a doubt there's fraud in California, and I think you're going to find it with the illegal immigrant population that's flooded that state, just like it has Minnesota, Illinois, New York, and many other blue states, but particularly among the Somali community. And for whatever reason, the Democrats don't want to talk about this. I think it's political. I think that's why they left the border open for 4 years under Joe Biden. They were trying to rush as many future Democrat voters into America as possible. And with this particular community, the Somali community, it appears over 75%, Maria, of the Somali population in America is on full welfare benefits. You know, the argument to letting people into the United States has always been, we need workers, we need workers. For whatever reason, this particular community, which is a major flank in the Democrat Party, a major part of their Democrat base, they are milking the system. And what we're going to see in Minnesota today, I think, is going to outrage every hardworking, tax-paying American. But I'm glad that we're going to also be able to report that the Trump administration is on the ground. I know a lot of people get frustrated because we do investigations and it doesn't seem like people are being held accountable. But we're going to talk today about what's already happened. There have been many arrests, and I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. And hopefully after today's committee hearing, there'll be many more arrests.
And where does that lead us? I mean, you're right. There's frustration that there's never accountability to any of this.
Yeah.
So once we hear from whistleblowers, once you tell us exactly what you've been doing and the Trump administration is doing, then what?
Well,
Criminal referrals?
Hopefully there'll be. Oh, absolutely. Hopefully there'll be criminal prosecutions. And you know, Tim Walz is going to have to answer some questions because according to the whistleblowers, they've been warning Tim Walz and Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, both of whom I served with here in Congress, about this fraud for years, and they've turned a blind eye because they needed that Somali population to win elections. And that's what it all comes down to, Maria. That's why the Democrats have had an open border policy. That's why they give blank checks to these blue states. That's why they don't have any accountability or oversight of these grant funds, because it's all about buying votes and building the Democrat Party. They've lost the working men and women of America. They've lost the people in America with common sense. So all they have left are all these immigrants that have poured in here that they're giving full welfare benefits to and turning a blind eye to massive fraud.
Are you going to ask to speak with Tim Walz? Are you going to ask him to testify?
Absolutely. 100%. He's going to receive a subpoena if he doesn't come in voluntarily. Before I can issue a subpoena, I have to give someone an opportunity to come in voluntarily. We've done that. We haven't heard back from him. He knows what the rules are in Congress. He served in Congress. So we fully expect Tim Walz to be here. And if he's done nothing wrong, then he's going to have an opportunity for due process in a few weeks in front of the Oversight Committee. He can explain to the American people how their tax dollars were wasted to one particular immigrant population in America.
All right, so you've sent a request asking him to come in to speak with you, and you're waiting for a response back. If you don't hear from him, you will subpoena.
100%, absolutely. And not just Tim Walz, also the Attorney General, Keith Ellison. He may even have more liability in this than Tim Walz. We'll see, but we're getting a lot of reports. We're going over the information as quickly as possible. And one thing that helps me as chairman of the House Oversight Committee, we have to have credible whistleblowers, like we did with Gary Shapley and Ziegler in the Biden influence peddling investigation. We have to have whistleblowers, and thankfully in Minnesota, we've had dozens of whistleblowers that have come forward. We're working with them. It appears everything they're saying is checking out. We hope to get whistleblowers to come forward in California, in Ohio, in Maine, in Illinois, and these other states where we think this Somali fraud is taking place as we speak.
So how did this happen? They just sent money to these Somali-run daycare centers, and do you know if they understood that there were no kids there?
You sent the money to the states. And that's something I've always advocated for, because the federal government is big and bloated, as you know, Maria, and we feel like, you know, in theory, the states should manage the money better than the federal government. But in Minnesota, what we've seen is the states turned a blind eye, even though many state employees in Minnesota have been saying for years that this fraud has been taking place. So that's where the problem is with the state of Minnesota. And I'll say this, Maria, President Trump has frozen all federal funds for daycare centers to Minnesota.
Wow.
So the president has reacted on this. We're serious about this, and hopefully we'll get some accountability today.
Oh, well, we're watching your investigation and certainly the hearing this morning. Congressman, thank you very much. We will keep a watch. Mr. Chairman, James Comer. Stay with us. We'll be right back.